The big lie in crypto. Let's talk about that today. What is the big lie in crypto? In my opinion, it is getting married to your bags. A lot of people get convinced to become community members and really like to, you gotta be supporting the community. You can't be sell shaming. You just need to buy and hold diamond hands forever. And those people end up becoming bag holders and get wrecked. We're going to be talking about that. So without further ado, welcome back to Crypto Report. I'm Blacksea. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel right now. Anything I say in this video is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Let's hop into it. Well, first things first, guys. I want to talk about where Bitcoin's at, because Bitcoin is dumping and it is below $90,000. And over on Twitter, you can follow me at 333 Blacksea. I said bounce incoming before 88,000 test, in my opinion. And I do think that that is playing out right now, and we're going to be talking about that. But as we see Bitcoin just break down further and further, I did put a limit order in for 89.9, and I did get that just now at the time of recording this video, but we did wick all the way down to $89,480. So that's why limit orders are nice. But I want to talk about this marrying your bags, because you look at all these meme coins, you look at all these altcoins, and it's just going down, down, down. A lot of altcoins didn't make new all-time highs this cycle versus last cycle in 2021. And a lot of people get convinced just to buy and hold, buy and hold, buy and hold. And that can work for true assets that have a proven track record, or a true asset that generates money, like a company, like buying in Google, buying Microsoft, or buying a ETF like the S&P 500, tracking the top 500 companies, and or an asset that has proven the test of time, like Bitcoin. And I know that some people out there, especially with the price action now being, what are we from the highs, being nearly 30% down from the highs, will argue that Bitcoin is not proving the test of time, and now that we're moving to a bear market, everyone's going to be saying, oh, well, now it's done. The all-time high is in forever, 126,000 forever, but I'm buying this every day, guys. I'm very adamant about that I buy Bitcoin every single day, and I've been increasing my buys every day. I've been buying a couple extra $100, and I've been waiting for this $88,000 test, because in my opinion, I do think that we see a bounce between 88,000 and 94,000. I think that the bounce is coming if we do not immediately, even if we wick below 88,000, I think that a bounce is coming. If you really look at this, let's look at non-Heiken Ashi candles. If you look at this right now, we are starting to see a little bit of I don't want to say this is strength, but you can see that we wick down here and we're up about 1.31% from this wick down to 89.4. But I do think this is an area of interest between 88,600 and 94,000, but really like 88K would be my price level for my area of interest, really, for looking for a little bit of a bounce. And now, does that mean that you have to buy this bounce? No, it doesn't, unless you're trying to accumulate over a long period of time for Bitcoin. But when we see this bounce, I expect altcoins to get a larger bounce as well. You're going to see some ripping, roaring price moves, but in my opinion, I think that it's probably just going to be lower highs. And in the meantime, guys, I am shorting a lot of these alts. I'm shorting Dogecoin, Crowcoin, Pepe, Zcash, and a few others. But right now, my Doge short is up $1,000 in the profit, up about 156%. Nothing crazy. I'm just using high leverage scalps, because I do think that I'm using high leverage scalping size, and is what I want to say. But I do think that there will be a bounce, and I think that on that bounce, it probably will open up an opportunity to actually short with some size. And I know some people may argue, like, well, Blacksea, you missed the entire move to the downside shorting with size. But, guys, I don't need to short. I don't need to be a hero. I don't need to short from the top. I don't need to long from the bottom. I like to wait to see a trend get established before I actually trade with size. Because when I'm trading with multi-six figures, I just need to make like a 5% gain in a day or so, and I'm happy, right? But I don't even really like doing that when I'm using those larger trades. I usually always end up leaning into swing trades. I'm a swing trader at heart, and that's how I've become a profitable trader, is by swing trading. But I'm going to continue to have this short open, and I do expect a bounce to come. So maybe I should shave off a little bit of profit, but I will be honest, when I look at this price action, the bounces are not really playing out that well. Like, we saw the bounce off of 94,000, which was nothing at all, really. We saw a little bit of a bounce at 99, like 100K, and it's just lower high after lower high after lower high, and I expect that to play out again. And I know, I will be honest, like the market sentiment is pretty rough. Like people are convinced that we're in a bear market, and I understand why they're saying that, but I will say that I won't be saying I mean, we're in a bear market, but in my opinion, I'm not going to classify it as a bear market until by 2026 if we are below, say, $100,000. If we're below $100,000 into Q1 2026, I'll say, all right, we're in a bear market. But let me bring this back to marrying your bags. Just because you see a bounce right now does not mean you need to buy. I think that, in my opinion, I'm buying in this. I think this is a good opportunity. Whenever Bitcoin is 30%, 20% down from all-time highs, I am a buyer. But, guys, I'm always a buyer for Bitcoin. When it comes to altcoins, I am not touching altcoins outside of shorting them or high-leverage scalping them until we're back in a bull market, or I think that we are getting close to seeing a bullish reversal. And when I look at this, guys, I mean, if we are in a bull market, let's look at the Bitcoin halvings chart here, because if we are in a bear market here, guys, we have a significant amount of time left here. Like, we have potentially another 350 days of sell pressure, and I think that's possible. I mean, you could argue also that maybe we have a little bit less than that. Like, how many days? Let's see. You could argue that we were breaking down from October 6th, so that's like another 300 days of sell pressure. But regardless, there's going to be plenty of opportunity to buy the dip. And when it comes to altcoins specifically, I do not buy altcoin dips until it is like excruciatingly painful. And even then, I am reluctant to buy altcoins, because as this market has gotten more and more diluted by new altcoins and tourists coming in just to extract liquidity out of the market, because that's just what this market has turned into, unfortunately. It's honestly the good thing. It's turning a lot of people into Bitcoin maxis, but it makes me very reluctant to be buying the dips for altcoins. But I'll trade them. I definitely will trade them. If you guys do want to trade with me, right now I'm shorting and the shorts are printing. I'm waiting for the next bounce to enter in a much larger short position. If you guys want to trade with me, feel free to check out in the pinned comment section or description box below. You'll get alerts on my trade signals as well if you sign up to Blowfin. You get a $5,000 sign bonus and access to our private Discord with Crypto Kip and I, where we're talking about our trades. It's more of a one-on-one community with us, and there's a lot of other like-minded individuals that are just hanging out, talking about trading and different trade setups. So feel free to check that out. They're all affiliate links down below, so it helps with this channel. And on top of that, there's lucrative bonuses for you guys, so take advantage of it. It's a win-win. And I do believe that there's going to be a lot of fantastic opportunity for trades, especially to the short side. And I know like a lot of people are much more reluctant to open shorts than to long. I get it, because crypto can be very volatile, very snappy, but when you start to get a clear idea of where this trend is going, it gets a little bit easier, especially when it is early on in the trend, and especially if you believe in the 4-year cycle. Because if you believe in the 4-year cycle, speaking of the 4-year cycle, top of this, the yearly candles, they just flipped bearish on Bitcoin for the entire year. Gains have been erased. But once you start to see this earlier on in the trade, early on in the 4-year cycle or the trend reversal, if you believe in the 4-year cycle, the trades are pretty easy, in my opinion. Not financial advice, but I'm telling you guys, I've been trading crypto for over a decade, and I've come to learn that when you start to see the trend shift and you have to get couple confirmations, the earlier on you're in the trade set, the earlier on you're in the trend, it's easier to profit off of it. But I want to talk about this, the yearly candles. I talked about this in a video, I think 2 or 3 days ago. And I'm expecting that this yearly candle flips bullish, which would be closing above like 94,000 by the end of the year. I think that's possible. I expect to see a pretty big bounce at some point, but I could be wrong. But if I am wrong, then unfortunately, if you look at this, we're looking at normal candles. It's not hiking a she here. This would be a change. This would be a change in Bitcoin's price structure. I don't know if that's not the wrong word for it. It'd be a change in the 4-year cycle's data points, where you get 3 years of bullish price action followed by a bear market, 3 years bull, one bear, and then it'd be 2 years bull and 1 bear. That's very uncharacteristic of Bitcoin and the 4-year cycle. But I would not be surprised to see this flip bullish by the end of the year, which is another month and 14 days left. But, you know, guys, the 4-year cycle could be shifting. We have institutional investors coming to the party now. I mean, they're all here, and I think that has a lot to do with why this price action has been playing out the way that it has been. But in the immediate short term, I do kind of expect a bounce here above, like before we break below 88,000. I think that's probably most probable. But there's always invalidations, but I am prepared for that. And if we do get a significant bounce, I am looking to short significantly and trying to profit on it. Now, I just wanted to make this video talk about where I'm viewing Bitcoin and give you guys my opinion about marrying your bags, because I see a lot of people getting upset on Twitter and whatnot about altcoins and saying this altcoin season was terrible and the bear market was terrible. Guys, I mean, and saying the bull market was terrible. I mean, the altcoin season was existent, but it just didn't feel the same as it did in the past few cycles, because we have all this dilution, all of these coins every day, millions of coins being created, and they're all just rug pulls. Like it's just people trying to extract out of this market, and it kind of creates a more clear picture of maybe Bitcoin is the only answer. And it's interesting because I remember in 2017 and 2018, people were talking about how, oh, like altcoins, like people had this like conspiracy theory, like altcoins are just there to take away your Satoshis, to take away your Bitcoin. And as time has gone on, that has become more and more true. I just think that's fascinating. You don't need to marry your bags. You can take profit. You should always take profit. The people that get upset at you for taking profit are bag holders and most likely unprofitable. But that's all I got, guys. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel now. Sign up to our private Discord by signing up to below, in the description box or pinned comment section below. And I'll talk to you later. Thanks, guys, for watching. Bye-bye.